Hey, how's it going? Reese here from Creative Concepts. I thought I would do a video on our Meta Ads lead funnel that we were using for about a year. This has obviously been different iterations of this, but this is essentially what we try to do. So, yeah, we run. Yeah, just to start off, my name is Reese, founder of Creative Concepts. We're a no-code app development agency based in London, and we build software, SaaS apps, web portals for businesses using Bubble. So in this video, I wanted to talk a little bit about the lead, kind of initial lead nurturing that we do when we would get a lead opt-in through Meta. So this could be like an ebook opt-in if we're running like a free lead magnet, or it could also just be, it's the same strategy for like a direct to offer funnel, where essentially we start off with whatever the ad is. So let's say the opt-ins via a Meta lead ebook. They would opt in for an ebook on, or the lead would opt in for an ebook on SaaS, how to build a SaaS using Nocode, or how to validate your app idea, whatever it might be. Or as I say, it could be direct to offer. So it could be like, have an app idea but don't know where to start, book a call, blah, 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 and then they book a call, and then they end up in the in this particular sequence. So it starts off with an automation. So we have HubSpot Marketing Professional. So we use that because it integrates directly with Meta and LinkedIn and Google Ads. So anyone who opts in and converts gets automatically added to HubSpot as a lead or contact, and then a deal is created as well and assigned to them. So that's step one. Is just keeping track of that data. So I think a lot of businesses and a lot of startups and people just getting started with Meta, they'll just lose the data, or they'll just forget to, when it comes in, they'll forget to have it in an organized place where they can follow up and where they can track it and track deal flow from sort of initial opt-in all the way through to close. So yeah, step one is obviously saving that data and creating a deal as well, and assigning it and assigning a value to it. Now, we tested a strategy where we had budget on the opt-in, or if it was more of a direct to offer, we would ask what their budget was for their project, and we would use that as the dollar value assigned to the deal. But what ended up happening was we would have this pipeline that looked massive, and it was just so unrealistic because the people who were selecting these budgets didn't have that budget when we actually jumped on the call. So just leave budget off, because we've also found that people who have self-declared the lowest budget, they often are looking to spend a lot more once they actually see the value that you can provide. So just leave budget out as a qualification point with Meta. So opt-in, Meta lead through an ebook, adds it to HubSpot, and then we have essentially two pathways. One is just on the kind of automation side, and then one is on the manual side of things. So if we follow the automation side, we first add them to a mailing list, where we will send them content to just nurture automatically over the course of a certain number of weeks. So that could be tips and tricks, or how to launch let's say it's a SaaS, how to get your first 5 users for your B2B SaaS products, that kind of thing. So we're just providing value, really, just trying to warm them up through a sequence of 3, 4, maybe 5 emails, not too many. We tried like 6, 7, 8 at one point, but we just found 2 or 3 or 4 is more than enough. So yeah, we add them to that list just for segmentation. And if we're running different campaigns simultaneously, so we might have another campaign for have an app idea but don't know where to start, which is more geared towards the entrepreneurial market. We're no longer running that. But when we did, we would just make sure that we add them to a separate list so that we can segment based on where they came from and what they were interested in, because we don't want to be sending SaaS tips and SaaS growth tips to people who are looking to launch a mobile app, and vice versa. And then we send basically just emails. So a sequence of emails to that particular list, making sure that it's tailored for that list. Really nice and simple, nothing crazy. Then on the manual side, this is where it gets a little bit more, there's stuff to do. So this you can just kind of set and forget. One of these will be a case study, one of them will be a tip, one of them will be a story, one of them will be a link to testimonials. Super basic. So they get everything prepared or everything understood before a call, ideally. What we'll then do is they opted in for an ebook. We didn't bother sending it automatically. So everyone sends the opt-in, the ebook, automatically as an automation. And that immediately devalues that particular lead magnet. It could be an ebook, it could be a course, it could be whatever you're trying to offer through Meta. By doing that, it really devalues it. So I prefer to reach out manually via WhatsApp and say to and basically find out a little bit about that particular lead, and then give them the ebook manually, so that it's hand delivered. Essentially, we're hand delivering everything, and that makes the perceived value of the lead magnet much higher. And also, it's just a personal touch, and we can start that conversation from there. And you know, it's much easier to do it that way than send it automatically, then try and send a manual follow up a few days later saying, "How did you find the ebook?" It's kind of, you've lost that connection already. So doing that manually takes time, and I was doing it when I was traveling, like just quickly replying and quickly saying, "Hey, thanks so much. Are you looking for developers at the moment? By the way, here's a copy of the ebook. You know, tell me about yourself," whatever it might be. Maybe broken up into 2 or 3 different WhatsApp messages. Then we have the follow-up email, which is then we have a manual version of that for email. So we're trying to send them that information wherever they are. So we do a WhatsApp one, and then basically the same thing over email via HubSpot. We then try to call that particular lead within 5 minutes of the first opt-in. Now, we've got to be careful with this because it's kind of, you've got to make sure you find a balance. So we start with that first, and if there's no response for 5-10 minutes, then we'll call and say, "Hey, Reese here. Thanks so much for requesting the ebook. Just to let you know, I've sent it over on WhatsApp and email for you," and then try and engage in a conversation from there. So again, we're not selling anything. We're just trying to be valuable and start a conversation. Just via call, and either calling through WhatsApp or just on a phone number. And then the final step is just sending a LinkedIn connection. Now I've put connect with lead on LinkedIn with message. So I put this together a little while ago. We didn't actually end up doing the message because obviously that relies on them, the lead accepting, the person who's opting in, accepting the connection, and then you've got to remember to jump in and detect it and all of that stuff. And there's automations you can get, but it was easy just to, again, we're trying to nurture, so it's easier just to send a connection. And then you've shown your face. So obviously my LinkedIn has my face on it. We've done all of the manual touch points through WhatsApp, through HubSpot, and then through giving a call, leaving a voicemail if they don't answer. Always double call. So oftentimes do not disturb mode / whatever it is, silent mode. Sorry, that's what I'm thinking. Silent mode, not so much do not disturb, but more like silent mode. Won't actually, it will just deflect the call. So if you then redial, if they've got time, then they'll pick it up, and you can have a conversation from there. So that's just a little kind of tip on calling people is often just iOS, Android, whatever it might be, suppresses those first calls. If they've got silent mode on for whatever reason. Obviously everyone now in 2025 has silent mode on by default pretty much. I don't think anyone doesn't have it on. So yeah, double dialing is a good option. And then just sending a connection request, just to show your face, show that you're a real person. You don't even have to send a message, don't have to do anything like that. It's just a case of showing you're a connection. And sometimes people will reply to you and say, "Hey, thanks, got the ebook, got the whatever." But really, it's just covering all bases, and we're just trying to cover as many channels as possible to show people that we care and that we're providing the value, the thing that they've opted in for, and then hopefully turning it around to a conversation there about obviously the other services. only after you've figured out that they actually need that. So a way that I would do that is, instead of just saying, hey, do you want to buy this thing? I would send them the ebook, and then I would ask an open-ended question about why they asked for it. Like, do they need developers at the moment? Have they already launched their idea or their project? Are they considering vendors? That kind of thing, to try and find out. It's just basic sales, trying to find out why they opted in the first place. And lots of times, depending on the nature of the lead magnet, it was do-it-yourselfers, DIYers, who just wanted some extra tips and tricks. But other times it would be people who tried to do it themselves, and then they're actually in the market for development teams, and that's when we could start a conversation from it. So just asking those questions, figuring out where they're at, will make it easier for you to offer or not offer whatever your product or service is within your agency. So yeah, that was our 2025 up until recently, where we're switching to SEO. But that was our sort of 6-month strategy for meta, lead, nurture, and the really basic sort of funnel that we had, if you can even call it a funnel. I don't really know if you could call it a funnel. It's more just a really simple sequence. Very little automation apart from just saving the contact details and sending a couple of emails. That's all that was automated. Everything else was just pure old school touch points manually. And I just don't think you can automate that. At least we haven't found. And obviously, when we're in high ticket industries, high ticket software, SaaS, we build SaaS for agencies and businesses. We don't want to automate everything, because that's what everyone else does, and we need to stand out. Okay, I hope you got some value from that. Thanks for listening.